course. More importantly.
True.
Yeah, last time I tried to upload the video version to Patreon, it would get like a couple % through and just be like, no. I was like, cool, are you going to give me an error message or something? And I tried again, it was like, nope. We're not going to do that. It's like, okay, cool, fair enough, thanks.
We see you're trying to do something.
Yeah. Please don't.
Where's Clippy? Yeah. Where's Clippy when you need him?
That's right.
Clippy's the reason why Microsoft went down this week.
Exactly. Clippy did it.
I'm not okay. Fuck giant corporations and everything else, but I'm not gonna lie. I fucking adore the fact that everyone's like, "Well, Microsoft is having an outage." Like, it's not Microsoft, you fucking morons.
Yeah,
that's not where the problem lies.
Yeah,
but it didn't stop all the Clippy's revenge Twitter posts and stuff.
There were some
like
pretty
that
good memes coming out of that one.
And as someone who did have to live through it for work and was impacted by it, like I posted in Discord when I woke up, and then I see alerts everywhere about, hey, systems are down.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm just going to call in. Fuck this place. I'm done.
Bye. Oh, man. All right. Are you guys ready to get started?
No. My favorite part of that outage was I was drinking coffee, so I couldn't say anything at the time.
I appreciate the honesty. You're just like, nope.
My favorite part of that outage was, I don't know how they managed to do it, but CrowdStrike managed to take down all of Windows PCs, all Macs, and all Linuxes.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like 2 spaces, and it was like, Windows PC stopped working, and then Macs and Linux users didn't do any work all day because they were too busy creating memes.
It's pretty good.
I did see one photo which was like an office, an IT boardroom looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's laptop facing towards the camera, and everybody's laptop had the blue screen of death on it.
Yep.
And everyone was laughing. I was like, yes, great.
I saw that picture.
That's the appropriate reaction.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
I also loved how many people were like, this is why you should be giving more of your users OS 10 and Linux. And everyone's like, shut up. Just shut up, man. Like, I don't have the time to tell you more than just shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have users who have issues using Windows right now.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell I can get them to wrap their minds around a completely different OS. Even if you use
Ubuntu, like, get out of here.
Even if you use something like Mint, which
for
is
sure
set up to look like Windows and act like Windows for the most part. No, man, these guys find a way.
Oh, they're like forensic scientists. We're like, this doesn't look exactly like the thing I do literally all day, every day. It's not going to work.
Why do all of my files have a dot in front of them? I didn't save them that way. There's something wrong. These don't work.
Exactly.
Like, for fuck's sakes, just open the goddamn folder.
Just double click on it, please. Just try it.
Yeah. I once explained to people that the reason why when I do file organization at my work, I do the month, but I do numerical 04-April 2024. Mm-hmm. And I do that so when it organizes itself by month.
Right. Yeah. That's why there's an ISO date standard, and the date standard includes leading zeros.
Yes. And then somebody who worked on something else, not that I don't normally touch, that I had to jump into and help with one day, has got all of the folders, like 4 months of folders, but it's like January-01, February-02, March
straight to jail.
03.
Nope, get out of here. I'm calling the police right now.
I don't fucking know. I'm just gonna leave it because I don't touch this normally, so they can fucking deal with it.
Oh my god. The number of times I've gotten crap for Destiny Emblem Collector because I put the dates in ISO format, which is 4 digits for the year, dash 2 digits for the month, dash 2 digits for the day. A number of people are like, that your date is backwards, and also the month doesn't go. And I was like, shush. I have a database that I'm sorting by certain things. I am displaying that database information to you. If you don't like it, please stop using it. Goodbye.
Between that and a 24-hour clock, the amount of times that I have to listen to people go, why
o'clock? What does that mean?
Posting things in military times? Like, it's not military time. It's a 24-hour clock that's used literally everywhere else in the world except for America.
I also love when people are like, 1932? That's not even a time. It's like, shut up. Shut up.
Yeah, dates specifically. That always screws people up in my office too, because I do it that same way. It's like, look, it's how it works for computers.
Right.
It's how I was trained to do it in the military.
They like sorting
it makes
this way.
sense. Yeah,
Yep.
just stop and think for a moment, and you will figure it out.
So rude. IT's sassing me. How could they?
That fucked me up so many times when I first moved over to America.
Mm-hmm.
Just having the months and dates switched over.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it's I think I probably mentioned this on the show before, but it's because of the way it's said.
Oh, sure.
Like when you say the date over here, you say, "Oh, it's July 21st, 2024."
Mm-hmm.
Over in England, it would be, "Oh, it's the 21st of July, 2024."
Right.
So
Right.
it makes sense how the two different things are written because they're said differently.
Right.
There's just the way they're
And
spoken.
then you get into stuff of like, what time is it? Oh, it's 7:30. And I'm like, is it? Never mind. Bye.
Yeah, what's 7:45 Boston?
7:45.
Exactly. It makes sense.
But
if
what's
you just stop and
7:30?
beat 7:30.
Okay. Why is
Half past 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock.
My
half
thing
past.
is always the past is missing, so I'm like, is it 6:30 or 7:30?
Oh, I always say the past.
Yeah.
Always.
I think
Half
that's
past
how it
7.
goes. But
I
like,
just realized
yes.
people didn't know what a quarter, when related to time, means.
Right.
And it's like, because you guys aren't used to looking at an analog clock
analog
like
clocks.
the rest of us. Because yes,
Yep.
a quarter normally is 25, unless you're doing it in percentiles.
Right.
What is 1/4? It's a quarter. What does a quarter look like on a round day?
I don't have any coins, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then I feel like it's one of those boomer
fucking-
conversations. I'm like, no, it's a GD clock. Just look at it.
people,
Yeah.
no, dude. Younger people cannot tell time on an analog clock. They
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of someone made a mistake. I was actually literally talking about this week, and then all of a sudden my YouTube shorts is full of people not being able to tell time off a clock, off an analog clock.
Right.
And it's like,
Millennials showing
dude.
9-year-olds an analog clock. It's like, I'm gonna watch that and then clear it out of my watch history.
I understand if we're all going to a digital format, fine.
Sure.
I'm completely fine with that. But also, when I
I'm not.
explain to
We need
you
the
what
Swatch format, dude.
but when I
Swatch
explain to
internet
you
time.
how a quarter works for time, and then you're
Right.
gonna argue with me that that's not correct, that's when I tell you to sit down and shut up.
That's when I hit you with a clock.
Yep.
Oh man! All right, now that we got millennials complain about Gen Alpha out of the way, are you guys
what
ready
are we
to get
even
started?
on right now? My kids can read an analog clock; they're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because you grew up in an analog clock, so therefore you know.
They also know what a
You
rotary
taught
dial
them.
phone looks like because this house had one installed when we bought it, and I still
Ooh,
have it in the
fun.
basement. Yeah.
Nice.
They do the same thing any other kid does when they first see it. They crank it all the way over and watch it slowly go back. But yes.
Hold on, I want to see what the Swatch time currently is.
Yes,
Does it
what
not
is-
exist anymore?
What is the Swatch internet time right now? Does time.is
know
have
if it
Swatch
current-
time?
Hold on, let's find out.
That's a good question.
Time
If it doesn't, I'm gonna be pretty disappointed.
is Swatch.
We have SWAT. And
And for those listening to this outcast who don't know what Swatch internet time is, go Google it.
Yeah, so it was basically they broke time down into like 1,000 intervals per day, and then put
But
an
that's the
at
metric
symbol.
system, Boston.
I know, and it's incredible. The metric system is great. Where is? Oh, does Swatch still have? Oh, it's 1,000 dot beats. A dot beat is equivalent to 1 minute 26.4 seconds. Why use internet time? Internet time exists. We do not
It's
have
like
to
we're on
think
the same
about time
page.
zones.
Yeah.
Oh man, somewhere has to have.
A day begins at midnight BMT because that's the closest thing to beat, apparently.
BMT. Oh my god. All of the sites that were displaying Swatch time.
It seems like
are
it's gone.
down. God, we even destroyed Swatch time. What will millennials destroy next?
But you can buy Swatch watches.
That's right. That's how they get it. You can't get it for free online. You got to buy a watch if you want that time.
Oh, Swatch Online Store. Oh, now we're breaking it down to what is a quartz movement?
Oh
you've
boy! All right,
unlocked
now
I'm
I'm pulling the ripcord on this one. All right, you guys
we're
ready?
only 2 steps away from string theory.
That would be hilarious if that was the solve to string theory was some bullshit thing we'd invented
It's
and then
Swatch Internet
ignored
time.
and killed.
No.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been the UMD all along.
Perfect.
Fucking UMDs, dude.
It's this UMD copy of Hot Tub Time Machine. It had the secrets all along. All right.
I can't put that in the titles.
That's right. That's right. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hi, I don't like my coffee cup because now I have coffee on my nose.
That doesn't work. In the Nimp.
Hello.
Let's put a quick plug here for patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are the numbers.
If you want an incredible banger of an Outcast this week, where we talk about
Boston, beta of an Outcast. Thank you very much.
Look at this giant list of things I have here that I missed about the 5 things we just burned through here, like Swatch Internet Time and String Theory that we did right before I forced us to start this show. The Outcast is our uncensored part. We're talking about everything in our lives.
We have been recording for a while. I just realized.
Yeah, we recorded. This is now the 45-minute mark, and we're just starting the show. I talk about stuff like Moon's Trip, Pineapple Pepsi, what the inside of armadillos are, our best 2002 Blu-ray remastered horror movie about werewolves, trying new sandwiches, English roller coasters. We got it all. That's not even half of this list of the things we talked about. So get that over at the $2 or higher tier. The $5 a month tier, fun for a $5, speaking of England, is the recommended tier over there. That is per month, not per episode. That gets you all the early access, like early access to Critical Misses and We Roguelike It. You get exclusive access to shows like the Critical Misses production meeting, which we have a brand new one coming out not this week, but next week. And then a great new season coming out after that. That'll be season 30. You get exclusive access to The Wayward Sons, which is a supernatural TV show watchcast that Moon and Nimp are going through. All of that and more. Patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers, #content.
That's right. All right, Moon, what have you been playing? There's a brand new episode of Game Club out right now where we talk about Botany Manor.
He remembered.
I remembered.
He remembered.
At the
he
last
stole
second.
my bit.
That's
where
right.
I have to curse him out and remind him that he forgot about Game Club.
Swatch Internet Time said at 999, and I remembered at the very last beat. Sorry, marketing.
Yeah. Dot 999.
Yeah. There's a brand new episode for Botany Manor out over there. Our next game is Magical Delicacy, which is currently on Game Pass at time of recording. You can play that with us for the brand new next month. Next something. Everything.
I literally forgot that game, even though we literally only talked about it yesterday.
Yeah. Botany Manor, followed by Magical Delicacy, which is a game that I can say but not spell. All right, Moon. What have you been playing this past week?
Well, it's funny you mention it because I played some Botany Manor because we did a Game Club episode on it. Because I always make sure it's the first thing I talk about in case you forget it.
Appreciate it.
In the future, I'm going to be annoyed because you're getting better at catching it.
I am a professional. What episode is this? 874? Professional.
Have we done 1,000? What is it? 100,000 hours? 10,000 hours? Is that what's the
whatever
myth?
that dummy wrote that dumb book about. I think it was 10,000 hours. Yeah.
Have we done 10,000 hours worth of this?
I probably don't want to know.
Yeah,
actually, an hour per podcast. So.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but you're missing all of the other... Yeah, let's not look into that,
Add up the hashtag content.
Yes. Anyway, so yes, Botany Manor, y'all should go listen to our episode on that.
Yep.
Because, It's more content for you to enjoy. And one of my favorite types of episodes where opinions were mixed. So,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, go check it out. See
And if
who
you
liked
haven't-
it, who hated it.
If you haven't listened to Game Club before, I think that show turns out really, really nicely. I think we put out a really good show every month. Especially if sometimes all three of us love it, sometimes all three of us hate it, and like this month we have a cool episode where all of us feel pretty differently about this game that we played. So go check it out.
Yep. Oh, it's definitely worth your time.
Yep.
Speaking of things we've talked about before, I also have been playing Streets of Rogue. Which
yes.
we have an entire season of We Rogue Like It out. I believe that's already hit the feed, the patron feed at least by this point.
Yeah.
Mainline feed coming up soon. Minor spoilers for the final episode of that run. Boston, play with mutators. Give
Okay.
that game another shot and turn on all the mutators.
Oh, okay.
Because it goes from incredibly impossibly difficult to, hey, this is a cakewalk now, and kind of fun to just mess things up. I did a run with the soldier, with the infinite ammo thing on.
That was a lot of fun of just, I'm dumping forever.
I messed everyone up in that. Like, everybody. I made it to the final level. I killed the mayor. I stole his hat. I made a speech.
Did you kill the killer robot?
I killed the killer robot and got that stupid achievement as well.
Yep.
I also turned off every single mutator except for the killer robot, so I made sure I got the killer robot.
Smart.
Streets of Rogue may be a better roguelike with the mutators turned on, but it might be a less of a roguelike because it's easier with the mutators turned on.
Right,
so
where's
it
that
becomes,
balance?
Yeah, it becomes questionable. I haven't turned invincibility on or anything like that, but it sure is good when you don't have to worry about ammo for any of your guns, especially when you get to like the later levels and you're chased by 5 mobsters.
Oh man, yeah.
That's just hard. I did do a run as that. I'm in the middle of a run as the hacker at the moment because I like playing him in the regular mode. I hacked the clone machines and got the assassin. Like you clone a random human, or you create a random human, and I got the assassin. Who, when he died, I got the achievement for killing the assassin.
Okay,
I didn't kill him; he just died.
Right.
And then I unlocked like a mutator for it, and it's like, okay, sure, whatever. I'm just gonna roll with it, kind of thing. This
game
moment.
just has so much in it.
There's too much stuff in this game. Like but at least it doesn't have the Brotato 98 achievements kind of crap linked in there.
Yeah, let's not. Vampire Survivors is crazy enough with its achievements. Let's leave it to them.
But that's all DLC, and you can choose to go into that or not. Whereas Brotato's like, no, we just got 98 achievements, boy. Have fun. Right. By the way, here is an achievement worth 4 gamer score.
It's rude.
Check out this episode of We Rogue Like It, or the upcoming one for that.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of things we've talked about before, I also wrapped up Venba. Venba is currently on Game Pass at the moment. It will leave Game Pass on 7/31, which is the end of this month. We have done a Game Club episode about Venba. If you have not played Venba, it's like a 3-hour game, and it is beautiful, heart-touching, and makes me very, very, very hungry. We have to get Fruitcast in somewhere.
Yep.
Really cool update to the Xbox. When I launched Venba, because I got the notification from TA that certain games are going to be leaving, I'm not going to start Train Simulator World before that leaves Game Pass, so I'm fine with that. But Venba was on the list, so I was like, cool. I only need like 6 achievements in it, and it's all like the fun ones, like failing recipes and stuff. So I'm just going to load it up, and I'm just going to play it really quick and get those achievements. The second I hit play on it, it popped up with a big message across the front of my screen saying, hey, this is leaving Game Pass on July 31st.
That's cool.
If you want to buy it, here is the price it's currently on sale for, or you can add it to your wish list to see when it goes on different sales.
That's really smart.
And then you have to click through this menu to play the game. I think it weirdly does a UI thing where it like disconnects the controller, so you have to confirm your controller again by just hitting A. but that's fine. That big pop-up message, I think, is a fantastic touch.
Yeah,
Because
that's
if
really
you've
great.
missed the notification that something is going to leave Game Pass, the last thing you want to do is try and load it. It's like, yo, you don't own this anymore.
That's
Who's
right.
on Game Pass?
Yeah, it disappeared
No,
last
it's
week.
not.
Where were you? Like,
Yeah.
come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So having that big message pop up, I just wanted to do a shout out and say, hey, that's a great touch.
Yeah, that's cool.
I developed a problem again with my final game of this week. This 2 weeks, maybe. I wanted something familiar. I wanted something I knew, something I'd played too much of, one might say.
Okay.
I wanted something simple. No, well, not simple. Organized, mechanical, clockwork, one might even say.
Yeah, huh?
Delisted from the store, one might say.
Okay.
I loaded up Hitman 2.
Okay.
So for the record, for those of you who haven't been listening for a while, I played all of Hitman 1. All of Hitman 1. All of Hitman 1. And what they used to do was, when the game originally came out, if you own Hitman 1 or you bought the like a special edition, you could get all of Hitman 1 in Hitman 2.
Right.
And then when Hitman 3 came out, you could do the same thing and get all of Hitman 1 and 2 in 3. Since then, they have renamed 3 to World of Assassination and delisted Hitman 1 and Hitman 2.
Yeah.
And all of the DLCs, everything has been delisted completely from the store.
Yeah, because they did the smart thing that I wish more companies would do of, all right, we have too much stuff out here. We have like 50 different bundles you can buy and 30 different games. We're just going to put it all in this one launcher. We're going to name it a new thing, and then you can kind of get everything in here. But unfortunately, that means the old stuff needs to leave so that, oh, you want the Hitman 2 levels? You buy the like Hitman 2 level pack, and it goes into World of Assassination.
Yeah. So I had already bought all of the Hitman. It's been so long. It's probably been like 3 years since Hitman 3 came out. So I had already bought all of the Hitman 1 DLC for Hitman 2. And I had started it, and I had played through Paris, and I had a fun time playing through Paris. And then I stopped playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw it in my games, and I was like, I could play Hitman 2.
Yeah.
I have never played a single level of Hitman 2. All I have played is the Hitman 1 stuff in Hitman 2. So I have now played Hitman 1 like 3 different times, essentially.
In like 2 different games.
All brand new filters to make it feel new.
Right.
New filters, new abilities, new like long grass that you can hide in, all of that jazz. I have never even started the Hitman 2 missions.
Okay.
Never. The problem was, at one point I was playing, Mackie needed help with an achievement for Hitman 2, specifically the sniper missions, where it's literally you are in one position and you have to use a sniper rifle to create the same effects as being the regular Agent 47.
Mm.
So I bought one of those and played one of those with Mackie. I didn't buy the other ones.
Okay.
Which are now all delisted. So I can't play those at all now.
Okay.
Well, I couldn't play those.
Dun dun dun.
Until I paid $9 for a copy of Hitman Gold, Hitman 2 Gold Edition, which includes all of the expansion passes and all of the DLCs.
Oh.
And I crossed my fingers and hoped that the download codes would still
right.
work. They still work, and now I have every piece of DLC for Hitman 2, baby.
Let's go.
So, Maki, when you listen to this, you get ready for the summation of Mr. Moon saying, hey, I need this multiplayer achievement on this Hitman level. Give me help, please.
The 47 bat signal has gone up.
Yes, the barcode gets scanned, and then Mackie gets a BP notification.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, we're on a rooftop sniping people.
Yep.
So I'd already done Paris.
Mm-hmm.
I started Sapienza this time. I'm going to say a lot of words, and people who haven't played Hitman are not going to understand it. That's fine. You don't have to.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm not going to go into detail about these missions I've talked about probably to death, and you've probably heard many people talk about over and over and over again. So I started the Sapienza missions. That's where you have the 2 targets and the virus in the basement. I don't like the virus part of that mission, but I like every other aspect of that mission. Problem is, one of the missions in that is a sniping thing. But I didn't have a sniper rifle because I haven't played enough of the game to unlock the progression to unlock the sniper rifle. I don't even have a lockpick yet.
Oh.
I only just unlocked the poison, like the poison syringe. So, okay, well, what's the easiest way for me to unlock a sniper rifle in this game? Okay, go play Hitman 1 in 2, specifically Colorado.
All right.
I hate the Colorado mission. It's like my least favorite mission from Hitman 1. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing the stupid Colorado mission so I can get to level 15 to get the silent sniper rifle so I can go back and do the Sapienza stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the ironic thing is, when I tried to jump into the Colorado mission, it does the great thing of, yo, you haven't played Club 27, the mission before this. You sure you want to load this? Because you're going to spoil yourself on the story for Hitman 1. I'm just saying. Just in case you didn't know. Are you sure? I was like, dude, look at my gamer score. Look at my achievements. Look at my save files.
Right.
You know I've already played this game.
Right.
So I jumped into Colorado and did a bunch of that. Hate Colorado. Hate that mission. I hate it. That's the one where you have to take out 4 people and they're on the militia base and everybody is doing different things and trying to mix them all together is difficult.
Right.
But I did it, and I got the mastery level 20, and then I got the escalation achievement, and then I got the start in a different location achievement, and I did for some reason, I did the sniper rifle suits only.
Oh my!
Completion for that mission because I was feeling a little bit wild that day, I guess. So literally, it was sneak in my suit, find a way to the water tower, get the sniper rifle, and then headshot 4 people in quick succession across different areas of the map, and then escape without being seen. I was surprised at how I did it, but I did it. That's fine.
Jeez.
I miss Hitman.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I miss. No, because it's one of those things. It's everything else with me personally, where I will get in a mood for something, I will hyper focus on it, and I will forget it exists.
Mm-hmm.
Go look at all of the many games I have installed on my Xbox that I haven't opened, launched, or started to give you an idea of that's a cool game and it's on sale. It's $3. I will get Immortals of Eventium, the Ultimate Edition, for $4.
Yeah.
It is installed and waiting to play. I will not play that for at least 2 years.
Right.
Go look at Dying Light 2, which was gifted to me by a friend of the show, Rob. Thank you. On release, and I still haven't played.
Right. Right.
I don't know what is wrong with me, but this is the way it goes. But anyway, I'm wrapping up the achievements for Hitman 1 and Hitman 2, so I can finally start playing Hitman 2, because Hitman 2 has got the Formula 1 level in it. Why have I never played the Formula 1 level in Hitman?
That's a classic, yeah.
I just haven't.
Right.
Because I'm a weird completionist, and I can't do 2 without doing 1, even though I've already done 1 in 1. Now I have to do 1 in 2.
Yeah, you gotta do 1 twice, naturally.
Look forward to 4 years from now when I'm doing Hitman 1 in 3 and then 2 in 3 before I start 3.
That's right.
I feel like I'm playing the shell game with myself, and the only person who loses is me.
Right.
I don't know. I love Hitman. Hitman is great. Hitman is stupid and fun, and I like the fact that I can just not have to worry about something. And I even remembered the good old classic trick of I'm about to be in a position where I can assassinate someone, so I'm going to save the game. Then I'm going to poison his water with rat poison, so he goes to the bathroom. Then I'm going to drown him in the bathroom. Then I'm going to shoot him in the head. Then I'm going to firewire him. loading it after every time I've done this.
Mm.
Then I'm going to be his therapist, and I'm going to smother him, and then I'm going to go and focus on the next target.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you complete the level, you get that box filling animation, and it's just like a window of boxes, and it's like ding, 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 as you complete all of these different like special ways of killing people. And it's like, yeah, I went from 0 mastery to 15 in one run. That's how much of a badass I am. Also, I save scum.
Right. Hey man, there's nothing wrong with it. It's single player. It's all good. You're having fun. That's the most important part. Like, you don't have to worry about how many players are online, what level battle pass you are, can I pull on this gotcha banner or anything. It's like, no man, I'm good. I'm having fun. Yeah,
exactly. So I love Hitman. It feels good to be playing Hitman 1 again, even though if it isn't 2. I desperately want to do 2, but I also know I can't start 2 until I finish this 1. And I have to finish the 1 before I start 2 because I have a problem, apparently. I like video games. That is all. Nim, tell me about your games.
All right, mine's going to be short this week. I did beat chapter 2 of Daybreak. I have to pull a video up on that because it'll be real quick. But I haven't. I've gone far enough in chapter 3 so that I could save, and then I stopped because there was a lot of thinking and reading, and my mind has not been able to keep up this week. So I haven't played a whole lot of that. What I have been playing a whole lot of this week is the first Descendant, because I don't have to think. And it's all just something pops up and I shoot it and I move along.
Yep, left trigger, right trigger. Whoops, it's dead. Moving on.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you say the first Descendant or Destiny?
Hey-oh, got him. I mean, first Descendant copied, was caught copying a lot of stuff from Destiny.
I did play a little bit of Destiny this week as well with my son. And it felt really weird playing Destiny only because the controls felt a lot slower than first Descendant.
Yeah.
And it was only noticeable because I've been playing so much First Descendant this week that when I got into Destiny, I was like, wow, I am not moving when I aim.
Yeah, it's the Warframe problem. Anytime I play Warframe, everything else feels like it's moving at a snail's pace in comparison.
Yeah. Which obviously I didn't think so before because I was playing Destiny 2 just fine with my son, weeks before this. So anyway, I've done a lot of weird crap with this game. I added, I don't even remember what they call it. Basically, so on your Descendants, you can equip these little modification cards that add things like, faster reload, their skills do more damage. It's just a modifier that you can add to that character.
Oh, okay.
There is a point value attached to each mod. And it varies depending on the mod. Usually the more powerful ones, they cost more, and there's an upper limit for your characters based on your master rank on how many points you have that you can use for the mods.
Oh, okay.
Currently, right now, my pool is 47. So I can equip up to 47 worth of mod cards. That could be just 2 mod cards if I've maxed out those particular ones and increased what they do. Or that could be a bunch of crappy common ones that then eventually add up to 47.
Gotcha.
Each card has a symbol on it. I don't remember what this game calls it, but basically what you can do is you can have in one of the mod slots, you can add that symbol to a slot. In any card with a matching symbol, it decreases the cost of that mod by half.
Gotcha.
So if you have a card that you maxed out and it costs 12 points, you put it in that slot, it now costs 6. That way you can add more cards or basically modify ones that you've had before to be higher stat, all that fun crap. When you do this, though, it brings your Descendants level back down to 1, so you have to regrind them back up to 40.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Not a huge problem because mostly at the point I'm at now, it's your weapon levels and your equipment levels that matter.
Oh, okay.
You just have to remember, like I did, because I was playing Vesa was the first one I did this soon. It's the only one I've done it to. excuse me. Vesta I can use as a tank. She's one of the 3 that you can choose in the beginning. She has ice powers of some sort, and like I can stand in a spot and just tank damage with her. And you're not supposed to be able to because that's not what she's built for. That's how I built her. I had to remember when I did this and I got hit by attack and all of my shields disappeared and my health took a pretty big hit. That, oh yes, I am not tanky right now. I have to level her up so that way the percentage multipliers on my modification cards actually have the base stats to multiply.
Oh, to build on top of. Gotcha. Yeah. Right.
Because right now her health is at like 37 and I have a multiplier of 140 on the percentage on there, which was better when she had 1,000 health because she was max level, so it's like, okay, cool. But like her damage and stuff and her skill damage, all of that is exactly the same. It doesn't reset the skill levels or anything. It just resets the level of that Descendant, so it's just the base stats that go back down.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not horrific. You just do a little bit of grinding and you're fine. The problem is, though, too, is that I also decided that, okay, I'm going to start grinding for this weapon because I have a quest for it. So there's 2 ways you can grind for things in this game, or 2 ways that they have it set up. There are some where you do a mission and it gives you the item. You collect 4 different types of these items and then you can create said thing. There's 4 Descendants that you can make this way. There's like a handful of like their legendary equivalent weapons that can do this. Everything else, you have to grind a blueprint. And then you have to have component items that you then create one of the 4 main items that you can then use to create the thing that you need. And there's usually 4 of them 4 different types of things that you need.
Gotcha.
On top of all this other grinding. The crap thing is, I'm doing this for the Divine weapon. What is the stupid thing called? It's the Divine Punishment Ultimate Assault Rifle. I just have a random quest to do this. I'm like, cool, I'll knock this out. I have to regrind my character anyway. It'll all work out. All day yesterday, I've been grinding 2 missions. And I finally got one of the things to drop, and I was able to make it. And I have 2 more items that I need to grind now out of the 4 that I need so I can make this item. And it is the one that is giving me the biggest pain is called the Nanotube Blueprint, the Divine Punishment. It has a 15% chance of dropping.
Oh, boy.
13 or 15. And
basically 0.
Yeah. The worst part about it is it comes from an amorphous cell, so I have to get like the specific one, and for this specific one I have to beat an end mission for one of the areas. And it's 100% drop rate for that, so that's not an issue because that could be another thing. Some of the higher end stuff, it's like, you have an 8% chance of the amorphous thing dropping, and then when you unlock the amorphous thing you have a 2% chance of that item dropping. It's stupid. So I had been grinding this mission. I get the amorphous. I then have to go fight the void boss to get it to pull up the little sphere thing so I can open my other thing. And it doesn't drop at all. I keep getting like the first 2 that are like 35% chance of dropping. I have so many of those stupid parts. I don't even need them anymore. And then the last one that I did today, I got the 3% item.
Oh, all right.
That I don't need or care about right now.
Biscuits.
So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna play a different mission. I'm gonna do a different part. Did that for a while. Was basically getting the same result. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna keep playing the story because this is stupid and I'm getting bored with it now. My current character, I'm using a machine gun that's called the Tamer. And I don't know why, but this machine gun has really high stats for damage compared even to like the ultimate heavy weapons. This one does like, I think I have it maxed out right now at 46,000 damage.
Jeez.
Which is higher than anything else I could find. And it has, with the mods I have on it, it's got a magazine capacity of 146 rounds, and it holds up to 440 ammunition as a backup.
Goodness.
So I just hold the trigger down and things die.
Yeah.
It's great. because I used to do this in Warframe all the time with the assault rifle. The primary assault rifle for that was the same thing. I think it was Suros or Sumos or something, where it was basically the same thing. I just put a high magazine count on that thing, and it was just a bullet hose.
Yeah.
And that's all it was.
Sorry, you just saying Suros just made me realize we could invent a really cool game called Warframe Weapon or WipEout Car.
Yes, exactly.
So I basically have my build that I used to play in Warframe right now, where it's just I have big heavy gun that just spews bullets at the other end, and it's great, and it's fun to watch boss health bar just drop.
Yeah, and you're not reloading at all.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just the grind right now.
Yeah.
I did beat the Devastator, which I was having problems with last week. That took a bit. The biggest problem with that is the fact that it heals itself. It throws out like poison everywhere. At some point, it has like this other bar that starts to fill on the bottom when you've done enough damage, and then it kind of goes into this invincibility state. It'll throw out poison pods, and if you don't blow those up fast enough, it starts to heal itself, and then it can heal itself all the way back up, and then you're just back at square one.
Jeez.
My wife was actually sitting on the floor watching me play this and swear at the TV. I had to do it like 3 or 4 times with a bunch of randos, and we finally, with different groups, finally got it on like the 4th or 5th attempt, and it was like close on that one, because you're also battling a timer. And I think you have like 10 minutes or something to beat all of these bosses. So, yeah, it sucks. There's a couple missions that I've done recently where I realized that there was also a timer on those because I'm just slowly eking them by. And I almost complete a mission, and then it's like, mission failed because you ran out of time.
Oh, jeez.
Whatever. But the new area that I'm in... Yeah, it kind of sucks. But the new area I am in is the White Knight Gulch. And I have, with the help of randoms, because I haven't been able to do any of the missions by myself, my DPS is really good, but I can't take a hit for anything.
Oh, okay.
So I need other people around.
That aren't glass cannons.
Yeah. And it's not even so much that I'm a glass cannon, it's just this seems to be a weird gap in difficulty here from the last area to this one, where all of a sudden everything's hitting a lot harder. And there's no good way for you to kind of catch up and get your defenses up and your weapons DPS up, because you're just dying all the time.
Oh, sure.
So having 4 people doing a mission instead of 1, that kind of helps it so that I'm not taking on 20 guys at once who are all doing like AoE attacks everywhere. It's like, okay, it's spread out and we can all move around. And there's enough variation between the Descendants that if someone does go down, someone can rush over, heal, revive them, heal other people as well. So that I'm guessing that maybe what they're trying to do is, hey, once you get to this point, you really have to start doing things with other people.
Yeah.
Which I don't like that it's kind of forced, because I've been fine doing it by myself up until this point. So, I am at the point where the next main boss I have to fight is like the Pyromaniac.
Okay.
And that looks like a giant red dinosaur, and I'm gonna have to assume it shoots fire.
That's gonna be cool.
I was gonna say me at 15.
Pretty much. I am not looking forward to seeing how that thing handles, but once I've taken that out, that'll unlock the next area for me, and then that'll be the second to last area of this game that it has to date.
Okay.
So I'm getting there for campaign stuff. What's going on with the story? I don't know. Never will.
Who cares?
Don't care. Yeah, as soon as someone starts talking, I hold skip.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't even care. Some of the character models look cool.
Yeah.
But I don't care what anybody says about anything in this game.
Yeah.
So it's fulfilling the whole just shut your mind off and listen to something and play. I've been watching a lot of Remap with them messing with motorsport and listening to their woes about trying to figure out tire conditions and stuff while I'm killing a boss for the 15th time. So, yeah, random stuff like that. But my last game this week is kind of a cutesy, bloody blue sky game.
Okay.
And you...
I love dark lightness, light darkness.
Yeah.
You want to phrase that?
You guys should agree with me. The game is called The WereCleaner.
Okay.
Is
this werewolf related?
Yes. Oh, there's a theme.
What did I begin?
Yeah.
So this is free on Steam. I don't know if it's on anything else. I haven't looked. This is an ad. I've actually had this installed since a week or two ago, and haven't done anything with it. But then Moon and I started talking about werewolves, and I'm like, I feel like this is the time to try this. It is a game that you play as a janitor, and he turns into a werewolf at night. But it's fine because his job happens during the day. Until the CEO...
Does he make messes over the nighttime that he has to clean up during the day?
No, but he can. But the CEO of the company says, hey, everyone's working nights. We're going all out, no paid overtime, but if you don't show up for your night shift, you're fired. Oh, by the way, you still have to work your day shift as well.
Oh,
See
yes,
you later.
America. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Capitalism.
So
Yeah.
your guy starts to freak out. Your guy starts to freak out because he turns to a werewolf at night.
Mm-hmm.
And he has rent due. So what can he do? And he decides, all right, I will just be a werewolf that cleans up at night.
Right.
And it's all cartoony. Like, it's super cartoony art and stuff like that. And yeah, the level doesn't it's the same level. It's a very short game. I think my Steam thing counted it was 66 minutes for me to beat all 7 levels, because it's basically Monday through Sunday. And
okay.
like I said, it's free too, and it's just a super short game. But it's also a puzzle game in that when you show up on the elevator, you walk through a hallway, and there's a security guy that calls out and does talking, and they don't actually talk. They just kind of do the whole kind of thing, and it's kind of funny. But it'll show on the map, hey, there are these 2 spots that you need to clean. You need to go there and you need to clean them, and then you need to leave. And you can't let anybody else see you because everyone's working nights now. So you have equipped on you a backpack that shoots water, and it's also a vacuum.
Okay.
All right. So you try to avoid these people, and they will move around in this office, and they all have timers over their heads. So if they sit down at a desk, you'll see this little timer. We were just talking about analog clocks earlier.
Right.
A little timer, and it'll show you how long they'll be at that station before they'll get up and move somewhere else throughout the map. So you have to work around. You can walk by them just fine, but if they see you for an extended period of time, you can't control your primal urges to eat.
Okay.
And it turns into a cutscene where everything will flash red, his eyes will turn red, and there'll be this little cartoonish cutscene that you just straight up kill this person that noticed you. And then there's a body on the floor, and you have the option to pick up the body and try to hide it, or to eat it. Either way, you have to clean up all the blood that's there.
Right. Interesting.
Because you're supposed to be cleaning. So as you're doing this, there's also the possibility of, if you leave a body somewhere, somebody else will notice. And then that'll set off, not necessarily alarms, but like people will become alerted because they just found a body. And you have...
Oh, it's Hitman.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have the option to kill the person who noticed the body before they tell somebody else, which I have done as well. So now I have 2 bodies that I have to clean up.
Right.
And I'm not going to get too far into the story because it's really funny and cute. I will say there is a point where somebody walked in for a snack and hung in a little too long, and I had to move because a group of people were moving towards me, and that guy didn't make it.
Yeah, sometimes they gotta get chomped.
The funny thing is, though, I noticed like a day or 2 later, at a I don't know if it's a random desk or what, but there was like a heart flower collage and candles around this desk. And I had to go clean that area up,
right,
and vacuum all of that stuff out of the desk area. And I'm pretty sure it was for the dude that I killed.
Oh man. So, I'm looking at a comment here from the developers. They say it's out now free on Steam and iOS.
Okay.
So
it's a really cute, fun little game that...
Yeah. The WereCleaner, and WereCleaner is all one word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, it only took me 66 minutes. There is like a whole rating system. It's like, oh, if you hurry up and beat it within a certain amount of time without killing people, you get a little sticker, and I'll post some pictures in Discord afterwards, but there's a little sticker of the wolf smiling that says no kills because
Nice.
the guy doesn't want to kill anybody in the office. He
Just
just wants
says
to do
big
his job and
boss.
pay his rent. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. And the security guard is kind of funny too. He kind of goes down the rabbit hole really hard. So yeah, it was a fun, interesting game, and for it being free, like they released it that way. It was like just a fun little passion project that this group of people wanted to throw out there. And watching the credits, I think the little people in this office are those people,
Oh, that's fun.
like modeled after all of them.
Right.
So, but yeah, the WereCleaner. It's a free
That looks
game. Check
cool.
it out. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that's all I've been playing this week.
All right. I have a bunch of games. Some of them are pretty quick here. Destiny 2, Episode 1, Act 2 started this week, so we're kind of picking the story back up. Nothing really super interesting story-wise yet. It's just largely a continuation of, like, am I who I think I am? Am I what the bad guy is telling me, etc., etc. The thing that's really impressive is they put out 2 new battlegrounds this week, which are essentially, if you've played Destiny, they're essentially strikes. They're just kind of under a different name. Bungie keeps saying, like, no, they're totally different, but they're really just strikes. And, like, the thing though is these ones are cool as hell. Like, both of these are really, really good. They're both significantly longer than some of the battlegrounds before have been, and they're doing an interesting thing where when the first battleground ends, the second battleground picks up right from that point, and then you kind of go deeper into the area. And then next week when the third one launches, it'll pick up from where the end of the second one was. So it's been kind of nice to play these new battlegrounds because the thing that they do well is the battlegrounds have a lot of enemies really clumped up, so it's a really good area to use a bunch of your cool builds, like some of your new prismatic builds from Final Shape. So it's a really good area to try and use that stuff. So Destiny 2, still great. Nothing super crazy this week though. Next up, Pacific Drive. There was a big patch that came out last week and a
I
half
did
ago.
see this news. Was this PlayStation?
Yes.
This was a
PlayStation and PC.
Yeah, PlayStation and PC. The big thing, there's a bunch of stuff on PC, like DLSS 3 improvements and yada yada. There's like a new DLC pack and a bunch of extra stuff. Most importantly, on PS5, they have a performance mode now, which I put through its paces for a little bit as I was like fixing the car in the shop and everything. Was running a lot better. I wouldn't say it's like 100% smooth 60 frames, but it's running a lot better. And in the patch notes, they said we're going to look at increasing the performance of the performance mode on PS5 in the future. So they're heading in the right direction. If my TV has a frame rate meter built into it, if you have an LG C10, you just jam on the green button for about 10 seconds, and then it'll come up with like, is VRR on or not? What is the frame rate that's being actively pushed right now? What's the resolution that's being pushed right now? Frame rate fluctuates between like 48 and 55 when I was doing that. So significantly better than like we're trying to get 20 something. Yeah. So I am hoping to find some time over the next couple weeks to try and do like a longer run, because some of the early areas of the game are fine, but once you get in that kind of middle zone where there's a lot more effects going on, that's where it was starting to struggle a little bit.
But you can break down the engines in this game?
Yeah, you can break down a lot of stuff. Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. This game doesn't always strike the best balance between not having too many tutorials and kind of letting you figure out things, and also letting you kind of miss things that would be pretty helpful.
I mean, I'm actually kind of perfectly fine that I didn't know that,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sure I would have come across it by accident at some point.
Yeah.
Because I still forget, I haven't gotten that far into it. So I think I've only added engine modifications like once or twice, or anything that goes under the hood on my vehicle alone.
Right.
So I forget that is something you can interact with.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah. So that specific drive, just a real quick one I wanted to promote because I took these developers to task pretty hard about the performance of the PS5 on the original one. Now there's a performance mode on or off switch in the menu. Go try that out and see if that's a little bit smoother. Next game here, Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. Came out last week. I have played some of this. Let's address the elephant in the room. This game does not have leaderboards. For
Okay.
what reason on God's green earth, other than Nintendo being Nintendo, does this
I was
not...
gonna say, dude, it starts with an N and ends with a Nintendo.
Yeah, like, this is the... Like, when I think of some of the coolest leaderboards integrations I've seen is Astrobot's Playroom on PS5. Like, you go and you play a level of that, and you see all your friends' lists, and you see their exact times. And if you beat one of your friends' times, or if they beat your times, the OS sends you a message just saying, like, hey, man, they beat your time by, like, 2 more seconds. Are you going to let that stand, or do you want to, like, just push this button and get right in that level? Like, that's the kind of cool, friendly competition stuff that I want to see. And there's none of that in this game at all. There's one leaderboard in this game for the weekly competition that happens, and you don't even get to see your overall leaderboard position until the event ends at the end of the week, and then you get your time. Like, it's just like... So addressing that elephant in the room, that stinks. Like, that's the most Nintendo decision that you can make, but it still stinks. Like, it's just a super bummer.
yeah.
Overall, I kind of don't like this game overall. I think it does what it says it was going to do. So it is all of these kind of micro challenges across, it's like 8 or 10 Nintendo games. And all of them are NES games. So it's like Mario 1, Mario 2, Mario 3, Metroid, Zelda 1 and 2, there's Balloon Fight, and then there's some other stuff. So there's a pretty good smattering of different types of games in there, and all of them control exactly the way they did. So it's not like, oh, here's the, like, Mario 1 modern control version or anything like that. Like, you're doing speed runs on the exact game that you remember them being. And I give Nintendo a lot of credit because when you go to start a new challenge, like, when you unlock a challenge and you go, it gives you a quick text description of how to do it, and that just gives you a video of, like, here's how you do the challenge. Like, you need to, at the first underground area of 1-1 in Mario 1, just collect all of the coins. And you're already on the screen, it shows the controls on the screen when you start, here you go. And if you want to restart it right away, you can do that and just kind of keep on clipping. So I think that stuff is really successful, but for me, the challenges they have are either, most of them are short enough, I think, to be interesting. So, like, the very first one you have unlocked under Mario 1 is just get the very first mushroom, and they call it Mush Zoom, which is actually pretty clever. I like that. But, like, that's fine, but for the short micro challenges, that's where I really want the leaderboards, because I want to see, how did my friend beat me by, like, 0.35 seconds? I got to get back in there and try and beat them by, like, 0.4 seconds and get to the top of the leaderboard. And on the other side of the coin, they have longer challenges, like the Excite Bike ones for some reason are really long. Those don't feel super rewarding because it's just like, well, finish this track. It's like, cool, but that's just Excitebike. Like, that's not, to me, that's not really a challenge. That's just, I'm playing the game. There's nothing super interesting about that overall. And then when we saw the kind of pre-release stuff, they were showing the almost like Nintendo Power styled guides of how to speedrun some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That only shows up at the very end of one of the game's tracks. So the very end one starts with, I think it's called Legend, for difficulty. That one has like a guide for saying like, okay, don't take this path, take this secret path because it's faster, and you can save a couple seconds here by going in here and doing this, doing that. Like, that's cool, but I'm not sure. It sort of seems like it's giving the answer, like it's giving you the solution for getting through this level as fast as possible without, like, it's sort of removing the almost communal aspect of it, of like, okay, I beat World 1-1 in Mario 2 in 2.5 minutes. You just beat it in 45 seconds. How is that even possible? Like, that's, our times aren't even anywhere close. So, like, it's just, I think it's an interesting package because these are interesting, fun, micro speedrunning challenges. And I think that's a cool idea, and I think if you were playing it with people, maybe passing the controller in person, I think that would be really neat. You can actually set up tournaments, too, in person, where you can have, like, multiple people playing at the same time, and then you eliminate people, the slowest moving people as you go through. And they do have that in the game in a really interesting way. Let's see if I can find it here in the video. But you can do some of that stuff where you have multiple people playing at the same time, and you're competing against other people's ghosts, so they're not all online racing at the same time, which is kind of interesting because you're competing with a bunch of other people that have already played this. So it has some cool ideas, but it just, the whole package overall just doesn't really feel fulfilling to me, and I want to say that the leaderboards are a big part of that, like, not to really keep beating a dead horse, but without that, I'm competing against myself, which is fine, but there's no real interesting reward coming out of that. And that's kind of a bummer. So I think it's $30 if you don't get the deluxe package that I was dumb enough to accidentally buy 2 of.
So this must be a bigger bummer for you since you bought 2 copies.
I'm just the dumbest human. What really happened is I'm trying to buy more stuff from Best Buy because Amazon just doesn't care about either their workers or their products or how the packages get to you. So I thought, well, I'll buy from Best Buy because they seem to care about their workers and the price of things, and their packages are handled really well. But I'm having trouble logging into my account on the mobile site. So I thought, oh, well, I better get a copy of this because they're probably only going to do one print run of these deluxe editions, and comes with some cool pins and cards and stuff. Like, it's a pretty cool, it comes with like a replica gold edition of the, like, cart, you know, the sort of famous
I saw that.
World Championship cart.
Come on.
So
This
like
is awesome.
It comes with a pretty cool package, and I thought, oh, it's coming out here in a couple weeks. I need to buy I need to buy a copy of this because there's only going to be one print run of this. Forgetting 2 months ago I had bought a copy of this with the exact same line of thinking. I better get one of these early because they're only going to make one print run. Stupid. Sheesh. That's me. Hooray. So, I think this game is cool, and I hope it finds an audience, and if they do like a Super NES one, I hope they do per game leaderboards, like per individual speedrun challenge leaderboards. I'm really not holding my breath, but like, this could be a really cool thing, But I just don't think it's something for me, really. So,
Yeah.
which is a bit of a bummer. Okay, let's rapid fire through some of these. Streets of Rage 4. Played a little bit of more of that with Bilsiford until we tried to get the Hannah in for Destiny and realized, oh, that's only a 2-player online game, and that's a 4-player local co-op game. So, whoops. Yeah. So I did beat this. We got to the last level with just Bill and I, and then a couple days later I went through and tried to beat it solo. Boy, that last boss of that game is something else, man. What?
Oh yeah.
Who did you hate to put that like multi-phased, multi-boss fight in that game? That was a heck of a like by the skin of my teeth kind of fight that I did there. So, Streets of Rage 4 is cool. I didn't get a bunch of trophies because I played it multiplayer. So and you have to beat like the game, all the stages solo, and I was like, well, that
sucks.
Why
would you do that? It's everyone knows this for a multiplayer game.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my god.
So it's one of those things too where it's like I'm coming off of this Nintendo NES thing that has no leaderboards, and then I finished this game. I was like, yes, played as Blaze because she's the best. Why didn't I get a trophy for clearing this Blaze? Oh, because I have to beat all of them in single player. Okay.
So I will say my favorite part of that game is very much like it's got the Resident Evil standard of replayability, where like the more you play it, the more you unlock.
Yeah.
So like, I think I've beaten the game like twice by myself, and I've got like classic Axel, classic DJ, and it's the original sprites. With the
I did
original
unlock
moves in
one
this.
of them.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's one of those things where like I can't be too mad at the game because this really is just such a good like I'm gonna play a beat 'em up here because I don't want to play anything else and I sort of want to turn my brain off. But it's one of those bummer moments of like, oh well, that's a bit of a bummer that I didn't get that thing. Like I didn't play it all single player, but it's just a little bit strange. So
yeah.
Last 2 games here, Dragon Quest 2. I am done with Dragon Quest 2, but I have not finished it. Last week we're talking about like I'm on the road to Rhone. I'm heading towards the final dungeon, and I looked up some recommendations of like what's the level range you should be in to finish that game.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying like, oh, the princess should be around level 27 to 31. I was level 20. And the thing that I thought was, why should I grind? I like Dragon Quest 2 a lot, but why should I grind for multiple hours just to go finish one dungeon and then just finish the game when I could be playing Dragon Quest 3? So that was my real line of thinking was like, well, I'll be done with this one and kind of go play the next one, because my line of thinking for these games isn't, I'm not going to punish myself. I'm not going to win $50 million if I complete 100% of everything in all of these games. I'm doing it for fun and like kind of trying to educate myself on a famous JRPG, like historically important series. So I just watched the ending on YouTube. And the ending was pretty cool. But like, this is a game from 1986. So like, it's not going to be like, wow, look, oh, it's a disc full of CG at the end of this game. You know, it's just like the king being like, thumbs up, buddy, good job. On to the next adventure. You know, so I feel pretty good about my decision, especially because Dragon Quest 3 is dope as hell. Holy crap. This is such a monumentally huge leap over the second game, which, you know, Moon and I talk about the Seinfeld problem in Critical Misses a lot, of like, going back and watching Seinfeld isn't super funny because all these TV shows and movies have done the thing that made Seinfeld huge. So like you watch it and you're like, yeah, okay, whatever,
Yeah.
no big deal. Dragon Quest
Become a trope at this point because there's so much time
yeah,
in
exactly.
between it.
And like Dragon Quest 3, the stuff that it's doing is like the bottom of the checklist on a lot of games nowadays. But in like 1988, this is groundbreaking, revolutionary stuff. And like doing some research, this is the game where the like urban legend started of like you release Dragon Quest on a weekend because there was like 30 kids that got arrested and because they didn't show up for school or something.
Yeah.
Dragon Quest games don't release on the weekend in Japan. That's a urban legend. But there's foundational stuff in here of creating your own party, so you get to choose your character at the beginning of the game. You choose male or female in this version, and you go through the like Dragon Quest standard at this point personality test of like, do you find adventuring to be a chore? If someone lost their wallet, would you return it? Yes or no? And it goes through a whole bunch of stuff. It asks you for your real name, your birth month, and your birth date. And it's basically like, so you're a Leo. Is that true? And it's like, okay.
Let's go tactics.
Yeah, very much so, yeah. And you go through and you answer a whole bunch of questions, and you go through a scenario. And I think there's 6 of them. One of them is like a lost wallet. One of them is somebody dying of thirst in the desert with their brother. One of them is the queen is a traitor. That sort of thing. And after all of that stuff you go through, it gives you a character personality for your character. And the one that I was going for was, in modern versions they call it Vamp, and in this version they call it Sexy. And it's essentially your stats are just like 120%. Every time you level up, you get your normal level up stuff plus a little bit extra.
Nice.
And I managed to kind of luck myself into that by finding a guide that was really poorly written and really poorly formatted. Because this game, I'm playing
going through the ancient scrolls.
Yeah, I'm like in game facts with facts that haven't been updated in like 15 years. To note, I am playing the Super Famicom version. Okay. Quick side note here. I don't want to spend like 2 hours talking about this because I could just do a whole episode by itself of Dragon Quest 3. One of the foundational things of Dragon Quest is you cannot name your character either Edric, Lodo, or God. Or any like of the pantheon of gods' names.
Yeah.
First 2 make sense. Second one will come up here in a second. I tried to start the Switch version because I thought, the graphics look way better. It looks like a way better experience than the first 2. I'll get the modern translation with all the right guides. all the stuff I've been talking about recently. I started it, and the character name that I usually make for almost every female character I play is Kala. I think it was a random name that I either got from like World of Warcraft or Diablo 3. Because Bungie has that like randomized thing is if we're just gonna barf out a name here and hopefully it's something pronounceable. So I fire up Dragon Quest 3 and it asks you like, forsooth, what is thou name? And I was like, Kala. And the game goes, that name is not permitted. And I was like, oh, you're dropping the... Okay, that's weird. Why would that not be permitted? Okay. So I put in my Dragon Quest hero's name. I'm dumb. So I think I was playing Dragon Quest 8 when it originally came out on the PS2, and somebody was like, oh, canonically the Dragon Quest 8 hero's name, I think, was Denam or whatever, Denam. I misread it as denim, Denim, and I was like, that's a really you guys probably mistranslated. No, I just misread it. So
You mistranslated.
I misread it. So my Dragon Quest character's name is usually Denim because I think it's just the dumbest hero name of like, look at this pair of jeans coming to save the world.
Do you ever play as the child of one of the characters from the previous game?
You do play as a descendant of the first hero in the second game.
Okay, so you've already missed the chance to name that character Jorts.
Oh, yes, I did. Okay. Dragon Quest, maybe whenever I can make another party member, I'll name, I gotta name him Jorts. My favorite orange cat on the internet. So I named it Denim, and that worked. And I was like, what is the restriction with Calla? Like, what is the problem here? So I go to Google, and I just type in the name, because I thought, maybe this is, like, offensive somehow, and I'm, like, putting something horrible in all these games. So I type in Callah, enter, and Google goes, did you mean Allah? And I was like, oh, okay. That makes sense. I'm going to play a Super Famicom version. The Super Famicom version was like, yeah, that name's totally fine, man. Whatever. Who cares? Also,
Still, that's weird.
it's really weird, but it's one of those things of like, oh, yeah. Sure is. My bad. But Super Famicom version, incredibly good looking. Also has fantastic quality music. Dragon Quest games have always had really good music made by a composer who's like was a garbage of a human being, unfortunately. But like still has like the Dragon Quest theme, has the little going to sleep jingle, the level up jingle, like still has all that stuff there. But in this game, you only create your party member, your hero character. And then when you get to the first town that you start with, you like your mom has you talk to the king and all the standard JRPG tropey stuff at the beginning. The game's just like, yeah, man, make the rest of your party. And oh, I forgot to mention, when I did that whole intro thing of your personality test, the game, in its style, essentially gives you an overview of your personality. And it's supposed to be like, boy, you did the right thing. You're super heroic. You're very big and tough and strong. And the game is just like, boy, you're just a big, dumb dummy. You just don't care about anybody. It's just like tumbleweeds whistling through the desert up in there. You got nothing going on. I was like, that is, okay, rude. And it's like, yeah, and one more thing, just stupid. There has never been a dumber human. I was like, hey, man, hold on. This is starting to get, like, a little personal. And they're like, all right, and another thing, just frighteningly stupid. And I'm like, bro, like, just pump the brakes for 2 seconds. Like, hold on here.
Intelligence has chased you your entire life, but you've always been faster.
Yeah, very much. And I'm like, it's finding, like, 4 or 5 ways to say that. I'm like, bro, just take it down a notch. So you get through all of that, and you create party members. And I created the basically the standard adventuring party. So your main character is the hero class, which they can't change. And that's kind of like the jack of all trades kind of Dragon Quest 1 thing, where you can use a sword and board. You learn a little bit of magic, but like all your stats are kind of fine. I created a warrior, which is just your, like, hit stuff hard thing. A cleric, which is your healer, and then a thief, which I thought sounded kind of fun. And thief seems to be ridiculously powerful, because sometimes you'll finish a battle, and it'll just be like, yeah, I just stole, like, 3 things from the enemy. You didn't have to do anything. I just, while we were fighting, I just picked a bunch of stuff off of them. And then you name them, and you dole out a bunch of stats, and then you kind of get a personality for them, and then you're kind of on your way adventuring at that point. And since I'm playing a female main character, so much of the game calls you, like, there's the hero, the best man on the continent. I mean, woman. Sorry about that. Bad habit. And, like, almost everybody you run into is like, there's our man. Wait, sorry. Woman. My bad. That's my bad. Sorry about that. Which has been kind of entertaining after the last 2 games. But so much of this game feels so much better because of the format that they've adapted to this, which in games nowadays, like, this introduces a day-night cycle, which then was groundbreaking. Nowadays it's like, oh, day-night cycle, oh, okay, great, yeah, whatever, it's a video game. That dictates the enemies you run into on the overworld, but it also dictates what happens in the town. So if you go in the town during the day, everybody's awake, the shops are running, etc. If you go in during night, there are different people around the town, but also somebody that was guarding something is going to be asleep. So you can get into that thing to loot a bunch of stuff, or there'll be different people. You know, like a dog was protecting something during the day, they're asleep, so you can go loot the thing that they were protecting. And they also, you know, one of my big criticisms from the first 2 games is, where do I go? Like, what am I supposed to do now and then next? The way that they resolve that problem in this game is each town has its own little storyline, which nowadays is like, yeah, okay, I played Morrowind, who cares? But on the NES, what that does is you walk into a town and they're like, all right, our king needs this, and you can find it in the cave to the west. So you have this whole storyline that's being accomplished here, and then someone else in the town will be like, boy, I sure wish I could cross that bridge to the east, but those monsters seem pretty tough. Wink. And it's like, it's a much more directed experience that feels way better, but not in an overbearing sort of like, let me just pull up the map and this giant arrow's pointing. The game also has a map now, which is great. But it's not like, go to this point, bing, 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 that sort of thing. I'm really, really, really enjoying this one quite a bit. I have gotten to the point where I ran into a place, it's like a tower or a temple or something, where I can change party members' jobs once they hit level 20. They go back to level 0, but they keep all of the skills that they learned. So you can do some kind of minor job mixing and matching in this game as well, which is pretty cool. One of the reasons I wanted to play the Super Famicom version also is because of Pachisi, I think is the name of the game. It's essentially like a board game that you can play where you're getting tickets and you roll a dice and you move your character on this board game. It's like one of the most unfair board games I've played in a video game in history. The number of times you land on a blank tile and I was like, whoops, it's a trapdoor. You're out of the game. And it's like, I swear, it's like, I will find you, and I will make you play this game in real life. And the Saw villain, apparently. But I'm really, really, really enjoying this. This definitely feels like the reason why they would remake 3 before they do 1 and 2 is like, oh, this is like Dragon Quest 1 and 2 are really good games, and I'm really curious to get my hands on and play the remakes for those to see how they kind of modernize these games. But boy, 3 really feels like the beginning of Dragon Quest. Like all of the ideas and all of the stuff finally kind of come together all at the right time, and all of it just really kind of nails it right away. So
nice.
It's really great. Only small complaint I have, I'm playing the translation that's out there on ROM hacking. When a party member has a status effect in the in-game battle menu, it just shows gibberish. So it can be a little bit hard to tell if a party member is like blind or asleep or paralyzed or something like that. It's not the biggest deal, but it's one of those things that's just kind of annoying. So, but yeah, Dragon Quest 3, really great. I don't want to keep talking about it too much because I'll be talking about it in the future again, and also like I could just go for like 2 more hours on how cool Dragon Quest 3 is. But
it's a good game.
It's really great, and I'm it's another one of those two, just like Dragon Quest 1 and 2, where it's like, wow, okay, yeah, I'm playing the Super Famicom version, so they have some more modern quality of life stuff, but you can tell that the core of these games is still intact and it's still really, really good. So very excited for November when the remake of this comes out. All right, that's all I'm playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yep. Be right back, bathroom.
Okay.
So I gotta see what my dog was just having a fight with the cat with.
Ah, that classic. I'm gonna check the news stories here, of which there. Yeah, Torek, let us know when you become able to read the Matrix regarding the gibberish status names. So there's one translation that came out for Dragon Quest 3 originally that's on ROM hacking, and it introduced well, I don't want to say introduced. It had a bunch of bugs. I don't know if those were present in the original Super Famicom version, or if they were introduced with that patch. But it was a bunch of stuff of like, your save game gets corrupted if you save the game where the hero isn't the lead party member, or the game crashes if you try to sort your bag by something other than items. Things like that. Like, really, they're not like super edge cases, but they're things of like, okay, I kind of know how to get around those annoyances. But this patch that I'm playing with right now was specifically made to fix those bugs. And sorry, Torek, I don't know why Nightbot was aggressive about you. But it introduced the issue of the like gibberish status effects. I wonder if I can find a video of what those look like, because like when a party member gets poisoned, for instance, it just puts like the letter C and then like an upside down hash like moon symbol. It's very, very strange. But like, it's one of those things of like, I could play the original NES version and I would be fine. I could deal with the Switch version. The Switch version had like a really weird frame rate, like frame pacing issue when I was walking on the overworld. Like the frame rate was really choppy. It was very strange. Probably could have put up with it, but if I'm going to play this game for, 20-something hours, I want to minimize as many annoyances as possible for that stuff. But you're right, it is delightfully weird of just like the alchemy that these translators have to go through to kind of like pull the engines apart on older games like this to try and squeeze a much longer script into Super Famicom games especially is really, really interesting. And like, of course, bugs and issues like this are going to get introduced just because of what they're going to have to do over, the base game itself. So it's really weird, really wild stuff. So I think this is the last one that I'm playing an unofficial version on. 4 is sort of infamous. I'm going to be playing the DS version, but I know the DS version had the party chat removed, so I just installed a patch to restore all of that stuff. Because one of those things of like, well, the iOS version had party chat retranslated, re-implemented, and it's really just a fork of the DS version, so we extracted that stuff and patched it back into the DS version, so now that version is the most complete edition. I was like, man, you guys are the best. Like, I don't you're doing probably dozens of hours of work just to have Healy the slime come up with like a liquid joke of just like, I sure hope
But
they're
I'm a good slime.
yeah, like I sure hope they're Glorbin happy to see me, and it's like
Uh-huh.
I didn't need that, but I'm incredibly happy that you spent way too much time putting that stuff in there. So we'll see how it goes.
It was the same thing with the Legend of Heroes too. When they in one of the Japanese versions, when they redid it, they didn't add all of the extra little chest quotes in them.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when you open them, you could reinvestigate them, and it would have like a little thing.
I'm still empty. Thanks, boss.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And when they took that out, like there was outrage.
I remember that.
Of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they had to translate in and repatch in like a bunch of different ones. And I know that there was a bunch of fan ones they ended up using too for that.
Oh, that's fun.
But because I know in one of the Cold Steel ones too, there's like a whole narrative of one was in each dungeon. There was like a story that was being told about like this heroic chest who was able to keep from being pillaged by heroes throughout the realm.
Oh, that's great. Oh, man. All right. Are you guys ready to wrap this up?
Yep.
Sure.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of July 22nd, 2024. F1 Manager 2024 comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. This seems largely the same as the previous F1 Manager games, where you're kind of, and like most of these manager games, where you're largely going to kind of be managing a lot of spreadsheets and seeing simulated races and things like that. The one feature that they're calling out on this one is being able to create your own F1 team for the first time, and I think that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
So
I'm very curious if this is going to get more than 2 patches before it stops being supported.
I mean, based on the past versions,
That's what happened with 2023. It got released, did not sell as planned, and then patched once or twice, and then no longer supporting.
yeah. So I mean, maybe don't hold your breath, but I don't know. These seem like pretty cool games. I will probably watch Waypoint play this more than playing it myself.
I'm sorry, who?
I'm sorry, Remap. Yep. Waypoint. Where am I? What is this, 2021? Sorry, guys. Next game here, Arranger, a role-playing adventure. Comes out PS5, Switch, PC, and OS X. This is a really cool-looking game. It's basically the person who wrote Cardo, the artist who drew Braid, and a bunch of designers who did like Per Aspera, Ethereal, and a bunch of other stuff, making this kind of tile sliding puzzle adventure thing where you don't move your character, but you slide the row or column of tiles that they're standing on throughout the world and dungeons and stuff like that.
This looks interesting.
Yeah, this looks really cool. It very much looks like a game club game, if I'm just gonna lay it out there pretty nakedly. But the Braid art style is really cool, and it's nice to see this artist getting more video game work, especially for something that just looks so super unique. If you have an opportunity to watch a trailer for this, you should. It looks really, really cool. That is Arranger, a role-playing adventure. And last game coming out this week, Earth Defense Force 6 comes out PS4, PS5, and PC. I really like that these games still don't look better. Like, they still have like the Unreal Engine 2.5, 3.1 texture pop, and like still really look like that line between the PS2 and 360 games where they just don't look that great. I think that's kind of the most interesting thing about these games, and they're still just, hey, you want to fight actual waves of giant bugs and monsters and bees and spiders and whatnot. Like, it's Earth Defense Force, man. Like,
Yep.
they're putting out another one of those. So that's I really like that they're still putting these out. These are great.
Yeah, EDF is the B tier game that we all love to hate to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were talking about like games that you needed to play through earlier, and I'm just like, maybe that's Earth Defense Force 6. The most like turn your brain off, grind level after level after level sort of thing, 2 minutes at a time. So I don't know, man. Earth Defense Force 6 looks pretty cool. I got enough
Probably
other stuff
got
to
working co-op.
Hey, hopefully. Maybe that's what 2024 is bringing us for EDF. Working co-op. Yeah. We do have one news story this week. I thought this one was really interesting because Apple has been making a real push with their most recent phones, the 15 line of phones, saying like, hey, this can run AAA console and PC games. So Resident Evil 7, Death Stranding, Assassin's Creed Mirage? Which Assassin's Creed was it? I think it was Mirage.
Yeah.
One of them's. They're all the same, am I right? But I think the big question has been, iOS is really good, and Android does too, has really good controller support. Watching a lot of the footage from Death Stranding and Resident Evil 7 have been like, yeah, these games look pretty good, and it's Resident Evil 7 on my phone. But how many people are going to be playing and or purchasing kind of a full AAA game on an iOS device? And it turns out
on a tiny little screen.
Yeah, on a tiny little screen. Like, it turns out not really that many people. The estimates from mobilegamer.biz. So, kind of take this with a grain of salt because it's not coming from someone like Circana or who used to be NPD, if you don't know, or like App Annie, who does a lot more specific data. That it might have only made them about $28,000 across 83,000 downloads. And I think that's an interesting number because it doesn't seem like they did too much to the format of Resident Evil 7, which is fine, but for $20, which is pretty high for a mobile anything, if you're not going to do something to kind of the format of Resident Evil 7, that feels like a game that is meant to be played in longer stretches, rather than kind of a pick up and play, kind of close and get back to it sort of thing that a lot of mobile games are going to be. So it seems like I think we probably could have predicted that this might have not been a great fit for mobile devices. Same way that Death Stranding is not going to be a good fit. Are you going to spend 2 hours holding L2 and R2 walking across Norway and avoiding BBs on your phone that the battery is probably going to die before you get from, coast not station to somewhere else? Like, these just don't seem like experiences that fit on the device. And then on top of it saying like, hey man, it's only $20. It's like, yeah, but that's pretty pricey, especially for something that you really want to play as like a controller sort of thing. So
I mean, it's almost like putting Destiny on Stadia was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just know these things.
Yeah.
Well, just look at, that was the biggest complaints I've had with Sony with their PSP and Vita. They were trying so hard to shove console titles on those devices.
Right.
And they weren't meant to be that. Like, specifically the PSP, they were putting games on there that should have had a second analog stick, and that thing only had a nub and a D-pad.
Right, so that rubber band nub that would flick back to the center, like.
And the Vita, they were kind of doing the same thing, where it's like they were trying to force console experiences on a Vita, and like I just said, the Vita had an OLED screen, which looks great.
Yeah.
But I have a 72-inch, TV.
And this game
that
doesn't
I'd rather
have
sit
quick
and
save. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially a lot of that. When are you on your phone? Bathroom, when you have 5 minutes, probably on public transit of some sort.
Commuting,
And that's why Monster Hunter did so incredibly well on the PSP, is you had levels that were largely a shorter kind of contained experience. We can say, all right, we're going to play one mission in Monster Hunter. It's going to take us about X number of minutes, largely, and then we kind of know how many we can play multiplayer at the moment. So yeah, it's really interesting to see, at the very least, download numbers, because it's been downloaded around 83,000 times, which is, I think, a little bit higher than I was expecting that number to be, but to see that transition, the kind of attach rate of downloading, like people downloading it to people paying the $20 to play it, that's less than I thought it was going to be. So hopefully there's going to be kind of a larger game like that looks really great. What was that game that Chair Interactive that made that Blade game? Remember that like really early iOS hit that was like basically it looked incredible.
Wasn't it just called Blade?
Maybe it was. I don't remember.
Because that was like everyone was comparing it to like Skyrim at the time or something like that.
Yeah, and it was very much like you're just like slashing at the screen, but looks incredible. Like they need that version of the games coming out for the 15 of like, this game looks incredible and it feels like a really great like controller experience, but it either is 5 to 10 minute play sessions, or I have quick save, or I can just close it and it saves. It's the same thing we've been talking about with roguelikes lately. Oh, I can't just save anywhere? Well, now I'm going to be playing your game a lot less, because now I got to sit down for 30 to 60 minutes to go do this thing. Like that's the level of investment is a lot different now. Because
that's part of the reason I haven't been able to play a whole lot of Pacific Drive.
Right.
Is I'm getting to the point where it's like it's starting to take 45 minutes.
Yeah, these runs of 3 junctions are going to take me a little bit of time.
Yeah, sure, you can quit at any time and lose everything that you've picked up to this point.
And
so
a bunch of
save.
parts of your car just fall off. Like
exactly. So I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. All right, that's our news story for this week. And that's our episode for this week. Thank you very much for everyone for listening. You'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page. Don't forget YouTube channel. We put a video version up of everything that comes out on the public feed, including like the Game Club episode we were just talking about. That's a brand new one. You can watch us talk about Botany Manor. Remember, our very next one is Magical Delicacy. It's out on Game Pass right now. Like, comment, subscribe over there. That stuff really does help. If you want to help us financially, you can do so at patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones and numbers?
The $5 a month tier is the recommended one. That is per month, not per week or per episode. We'd probably be making way more money at that point, but we don't want to. We know the cash is tight, so don't want to be one of those people that's like ultimate supporters, like $500 a month. If you want to pay that much a month, please tell your rich friends, and we will take their $500 a month. If you can't support us,
I'm not even a fan of the shout out thing either. It's kind of weird.
That's true. But if you're going to spend us $500 a month, we'll do something.
Yes, we'll call you by name.
That's right. Kindly too. We won't even be like, oh, look at this rich jerk. If you can't support us financially, totally understand. Like we said, like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Please go rate the show wherever you listen to it if you're able to. That stuff really does help us appease whatever dark magic the algorithm does. That really does help us get recommended to people that like shows like this, and will help them find the show, which helps us out overall. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you all next week. Bye!
Oi.
Bye.
All right, Nimp. What are your titles?
I have add up the hashtag content. This one's probably a no, but I'm dumping forever. The 47 bat signal. Even though I did one in one. Mush Zoom. Dragon Quest 3 is dope. And you mistranslated it.
All right, Moon, what do you have?
Beta of an Outcast, hashtag content, barcode gets scanned, the shell game with myself, also I save scum, the Warframe problem, Warframe weapon or wipeout car, what did I begin and who do you hate?
I got to do Warframe weapon or wipeout car. All right, I wanted something familiar. I need to do 1 in 2, add up the hashtag content, the shell game with myself, and Warframe weapon or wipeout car, which I think that last one probably gets my vote, because that one that tickles me. What are you guys feeling?
Well, Warframe weapon or wipeout car is good by me.
All right, I'm circling it. I see Moon Googling
100 fucking percent.
wipeout
Also,
car.
write that down for a bleep.
Thank you. Wipeout car time names here. 2/18/38. Moon F bomb.
Moon was a bad boy.
Yep. What happens when you take a week off?
That's
I'm
right.
gonna do the same thing in 3 weeks.
That's right. You lose it.
Okay, I'm ready.
Find...
Also, I like that the name of the werewolf in the WereCleaner is Kyle. just a regular dude. I'm Kyle the werewolf.
For as short as that game is, it is pretty great.
Yeah, it seems very charming from the video we were watching.
All right, I am ready.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 874 of July 22nd, 2024. Warframe weapon or wipeout car?
Felaraxo Fizo, baby.
Attica or Sadu?
Same idea.
You got it. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening, watching. We greatly appreciate it. We hope you'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, 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 bye.
You trying to do like a car there? It's like boo, 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 boo.
Yes. I'm assuming Attica was the weapon, by the way.
Yes.
There you go. All right,
I
bye.
know my wipeout. I don't know my Warframe.